Okay, Dailan, we're here in Camira State Forest between Casino and Grafton. Can you give us a bit of an understanding of what's going on here in Camira? What have you found here?
Yeah, certainly. Look, this Camira was one of the ones that was badly affected in the fires, in the 2019-20 fires, and so most of the forest was burnt. There was one patch of about 50 hectares that was lightly burnt, or even some that escaped the burning. And under the what they're saying they're meant to be doing now, the logging is avoiding the lightly burnt areas and protecting those at least for 3 years after the fire. So there's still another year to go. And yet what they're doing here is that they've put aside as what they're calling a fire offset the most heavily burnt, the most recently logged area, and they're saying that's what they're going to protect for all those species that survived the fires. They're going to give them the worst bit of the forest, whereas they're meant to be protecting the best bit. So I've been in here looking at the best bit, and lo and behold, I found a significant colony of koalas in there. Quite a few trees with koala scratches, a lot of trees with koala scratches. So we do have a fire refuge here for koalas in the area that was least heavily burnt. And in the most heavily burnt forest around here, the koalas just got obliterated. So it's the lightly burnt areas and the unburnt areas where the koalas are hanging in, and we need those areas to repopulate the rest of the forest. And that will happen over time. But it's going to take decades for the koala populations to recover. So given that they're meant to be protecting these least burnt and unburnt areas, what we've done is we've written to the Minister for the Environment, who was advised back in June last year that he should be putting those places aside and he should tell forestry to do so. And yet he won't do it, and neither will the Forest Minister. So they've got that advice and they won't follow it through. So we're trying to highlight that. I've written to the Minister saying, well, look, here you go. Here's an example, and there's lots of others of an area that should be being protected now. That's what the minimal requirements of the Resource Assessment Commission said. Why aren't you doing it? And so we're trying to highlight why they should do it. We're trying to say, well, look, here we go. Here's an area like this. It's got koalas in it. It's a koala refuge area. This area is vitally important to protect for the future of koalas rather than the really heavily trashed bit that they have.
So what can people out there who might be watching this or listening to this do to help to support you in that?
Well, we need people to count for koalas. So right throughout this region, the Richmond lowlands, which this is part of, are really important for koalas. There's koalas widespread throughout these forests. It's one of the most heavily impacted by the fires. We've probably lost over 80% of the koalas in these forests in the fires. And the survivors need a chance to recover. They don't need forestry to come in and take out their remaining feed trees. And that's what's happening. They're targeting their feed trees for logging. And, there's only so much a koala can bear. So we need people to publicise issues, talk to people about it, make it a public issue that we can't go on logging koala habitat. They're now endangered, and the reason they're endangered is because we keep on destroying their habitat. Habitat is the most important thing for them. They can also write to the Minister themselves, but the main thing is just making a fuss, getting it to the public attention, letting the public know what's going on, the rest of the community. So whatever you can do to publicise the plight of the koalas and the need to not log their habitat, not take out their remaining feed trees, that's the message we've got to get across.